I don't know anything about this show. It was just kind of recommended to me, and I want to start watching more TV shows because I have a really bad habit of not finishing TV shows. Like, I'll start a show, and even if I really, really, really like it, because of how just my brain is basically just two squirrels running on a little wheel at any given time, and somehow they're both always taking a smoke break at the same time, it is difficult for me to finish TV shows. So I thought I would try to kill two birds with one stone and do more sort of freestyle, just give my thoughts, reaction style content, and work on my anxiety and ability to just talk and yap, while also trying my best to actually finish TV shows. So with that said, here is my first time watching Vox Machina.
The fuck? You shall pay for it!
Oh, holy shit. Okay, this started off a lot more gruesome than I thought it would.
I propose we attempt to capture the beast and use it as a weapon against our enemies.
I don't know if this is technically racist, but that dark elf gives me weird, like, villain vibes. Not because he's dark, I guess. Technically not because he's dark.
I will not send our remaining army beyond the city walls until we know who or what our enemy is.
I love that every fantasy show always needs, like, a bald black guy as, like, the diversity quota.
Look at you scrawny ass. Too weak to tickle your own pickle.
That's so sad. Imagine being so weak you can't slap the magic salami. Why is he making fun of him for that? That's so tragic. That would in fact be my 13th reason. And probably 1 through 12.
It's me. Thank you, much appreciated.
And stay out!
I mean this with all the love and light in my heart because so far I'm enjoying the show, but is no one kind of like tired of like the whole like, I don't know what this is called, but like the ragtag team? Like technically that's not them because they all know each other, and a ragtag team is typically a bunch of like people who didn't know each other prior, but like the band of misfits, I guess is the term I'm looking for. Like that trope in, especially in like fantasy, because I feel like this has already been done quite a bit. Like again, let me preface by saying I'm enjoying the show so far. Something can be kind of oversaturated or overdone and still be enjoyable, but I feel like I'm alone in that, like I'm the only person who doesn't really enjoy the whole band of misfits thing. Like sure, I enjoy lovable idiots just as much as the next guy, but I feel like it's especially done in fantasy settings, which I guess kind of makes sense in the sense that like fantasy settings are typically like, it was oversaturated that like everyone be kind of perfect, like the perfect hero kind of thing, and once everyone got tired of like, oh, like we can do something else, we don't have to do the perfect hero type setting, now everyone's like, okay, how about we make the heroes misfits? And I feel like the whole misfit thing is now approaching like being just as overused as like a perfect hero trope.
And as for myself, my name is Scanlan, the man with the fat purple hand.
Oh god, they added a rap portion to it. Lin-Manuel Miranda will someday burn in hell for the sins he has committed, not only against theater and mankind, but against rap music. Like sure, maybe this isn't his fault, but I very much blame him for the whole like musical turning into a rap number kind of thing. And it's not good rap either. And I think that brings me to a much larger point. Black people can tell if black people have had a hand in something, and not in a way that like black people are a monolith or we all think alike, blah blah blah. But if you are, especially if you're a black person who is even remotely tapped into black culture, especially black American culture, you can tell when someone who is an outsider portrays things that are a part of black culture. Because for lack of a better word or phrasing for it, it always lacks a certain sort of je ne sais quoi or flavor. One, because it always comes across as like the people who are sort of adopting the culture for their own means throw it into something with no, like they just think it's cool. They don't really know how to, like for example, you can know every single part of a dish but not know how to make that dish taste good. Just because a person admires parts of black culture, they don't necessarily know how to portray it as just as cool as they believe it to be and is. But for sure, big way that you can always kind of tell tell that no black person had a hand in the making of something is that if a black person was there, or at least had like any remote amount of power or decision making in a certain process, they could stop and be like, hey, no guys, this is bad and cringe. And not even in like a fun cringe way, because cringe can be cool, but like cringe in a like this just feels like icky. Like, why is bro rapping?
Have you seen any evil wizards or giant monsters passing through here?
How long have they been a team? Have they never seen her talk to plants before? I feel like that wouldn't just spring up on like this mission. She could also still be drunk, and it might be the first time she's ever done that.
Think you'll be needing this.
Damn, did they just set up a romance? Like that? Like that easily? Am I tripping? That was a little cliche, right? This is a very minor gripe, but a bit of a gripe. I wish it was more chaotic. As someone who is very casual to D&D, don't get me wrong, I am very much a noob. The most D&D I've ever played was like pre-COVID. I would go weekly to like a D&D group at like a card shop once a week for like a year. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no amateur, but you know, I'm like still like a noob. And I've played a couple times with like friends at their place and stuff like that. But regardless of that, what makes, I guess, like D&D style things interesting is the ability to incorporate chaos into it. Because it feels like even if you aren't very good at improv, the improvisation of D&D is what makes it fun. The ability to go on an adventure and completely say, fuck the dungeon master's plans, I'm gonna go find a pink squirrel. And now everyone just has to go along with it. And we've completely derailed the dungeon master's intricate planning because my character decided it wants to go find a pink squirrel with the fluffiest tail and gold nuts. And I guess like on some level that isn't necessarily possible unless like the show was literally about improvisational skills and stuff like that. I think Dan Harmon back in the day had something like that where it was just like his D&D adventures with like a group of his friends animated, and I thought that was great. So maybe like asking for something like that with like a TV budget like Amazon is probably too much to ask for, because obviously networks need to know that they'll make their money back double. You can't really guarantee that with a story that doesn't have a story, that is just improv necessarily. You know what I mean? That's a very played out joke. To having the characters have like a very tense moment and then something very like innocuous or unassuming hops out of like an area that they were focused on is to comedy what having an old dude who's super good at martial arts is to anime. It's like, oh, okay, I guess as long as you're using what is in your repertoire, it is better than not using anything at all. Oh, this doesn't sound complainy, because I'm not like, I don't dislike the show, you know what I mean? For what it is and for what it's trying to do, it's fine. But the comedic beats are a bit easy to read. Like, oh, like, haha, like, it was a little lamb that jumped out and they were all scared and tense. But the thing that they should actually fear is the thing that just killed the lamb. Gore. You know, like, it's like, okay, all right, you know what? Fine. I mean, not to be cruel or anything, but like, of course, lightning didn't work against a lightning dragon. Like, I know this is a fantasy setting or whatever, but like, in most fantasy settings, the rules are beings typically have a resistance to whatever their affinity is. What the hell that shield gonna do? Half dude's head is still sticking out.
Someone on the council must have been in contact with the dragon, or...
It was definitely a dark elf. See, I knew I wasn't racist. +1 for old Bellows. Another day of not being racist. The burden these shoulders carry. Kinda shipped them now.
But now I'm feeling things. On the inside, they don't feel right.
Me after cranking one out to that video I found on page 84. Also, it's just now registering to me that their entire party consists of a barbarian, a bard, a healer, a druid, an archer, a thief, and a white guy with a gun. Not terrible. Maybe it gets better along the way. Like, I think it's fine for like what it is and what it's trying to be. It's not like trying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. Not every show needs to be a game changer or what changes the zeitgeist. For me, I think it's definitely one of those shows like I would put on in the background and pay attention to, but not give my full attention to when I'm like cleaning or cooking or something like that. This isn't something that I don't personally think I would like sit down and look out for or like really check it out every single week kind of thing. Like I wouldn't go, oh god, I need to see the newest episode of Vox Machina. But I think I would say I'm overall a fan.